Hello. I think. I think we're finally live. Sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus, did we deal with a lot to get here today? Oh my God. Let me just confirm on the page that we're actually showing up as live. Looks like we're coming through. Hopefully we get some people coming in. Whoo! Good way to end the week here. Or start it, however you want to look at it. Let's see here. Let me just check the page, make sure we're coming through clear. Yeah, looks like we're coming through all right now. All right, if you're here, thank you. Thank you for tolerating this. We're literally an hour late. Normally I like to get started around 8:30, get the show going. But I went through about 3 computers trying to get this thing going tonight. So, but here we are, man. Appreciate you guys joining us. This is Line to Gain. I'm Corey, and we're here to talk football. Over the last, I'd say, 36 to 72 hours, some stuff might have happened in relation to the NFL draft. I don't know if you guys have noticed or if you've been under a rock at all lately, but yeah, big shakeups. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how that affects the Lions. We're going to talk about how it affects the Bengals. Doesn't really affect the Browns too much, from my opinion at least. Sitting at 26, it's hard to really get impacted there. But cheers, everybody. Let's pour up. Let's have a good show. Mich Ultra tonight. I went lean. I went a little lean on us. I hadn't been here for like the last 3 weeks. We weren't able to do a show. 2 weekends in a row in Cincinnati. We went down there for my future mother-in-law's birthday and had a great time in Cincy. And then the following weekend, we were right back down there doing for a wedding. Congratulations to the Shooks. It's a great time. And then last week, I was in Vegas for my bachelor party. And that didn't suck. So, as you can see, been a little preoccupied with some other stuff going on, but glad to be back. I missed you. I hope you missed me too. If you're watching, welcome. Please drop a like. Share the video if you could. Say hello in the chat so I know who's watching. I would love to hear from you guys tonight. So, like I said, some pretty crazy stuff has happened over the last few days in the draft. And what we're looking at right now is we're just going to I'll give you a rundown right now where we're at in terms of draft order. So the first two, it hasn't changed. You got Jacksonville, then the Jets. Now there was a trade at the 3rd pick where, the San Francisco 49ers traded with the Dolphins to get up to 3. The Dolphins then went back to 12 with that trade and acquired even more picks, future and this draft. Then they took that 12th pick and a 4th round, I believe, traded it back to get into the top 10 with the Eagles. So now the Eagles are down out of the top 10, and the Dolphins, again, back in the top 10. I mean, tip of the hat to the Dolphins organization as an entirety. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing what they've been able to do. I think it's like 3 drafts in a row with multiple picks in the first round, multiple picks in the second or third round, and they've got even more draft capital over the next couple of years. It's absolutely amazing. It's exactly what you want your front office to be doing, and it's not like they gave up the 3rd to get to the 6th essentially, and added more draft capital for this year and for the next year. I mean, it's just everybody should be jealous of what the Dolphins organization has been doing. That being said, I don't know that they have necessarily their quarterback figured out yet. There's a lot of questions that are being raised about Tua. And isn't that interesting? Just looking like a year back now, looking at the draft, it was basically like Burrow or Tua. And I even went on and said, like, I'm cool either way. Go Burrow or Tua. And obviously I wanted Burrow. But now looking at it, it's just like not even a no-brainer. Burrow is obviously the better option. And then Justin Herbert, you know, everyone is coming out and saying that Justin Herbert was, you know, better than Joe Burrow. It's hard to say, being that Burrow has gotten hurt. He was hurt last year, but I think you got to wait at least next year. Let Burrow get a full year under him, and then I think you're really going to be able to tell whether or not it's Burrow or Herbert was the better option. Trying to think of other draft classes where something similar was kind of like that. I guess it would be like the bit for Baker. Baker's draft class. Baker was drafted number 1 overall, and he kind of came out like a flash in the pan. And then now you're looking at Lamar. Obviously, he won the MVP, and then now Josh Allen is turning out to really, at least as of last year, best quarterback drafted in that entire draft class. John, thanks for the like, man. Welcome to the video. John is our top fan. Not even a question. John is the man. I appreciate you constantly engaging on the page. You might be the only one that ever watches, and that's okay, John. We'll just treat this as like me and you hanging out. We're going to drink a couple of beers. I didn't get any Victoria today. I think that was the one, the beer that you had asked me to grab. I couldn't find. I still haven't found it yet. But when I do, you best believe that I'm going to be bringing that in there. Hats off to the Dolphins. Flipped their picks in like 5 minutes. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. You have to almost think that the Dolphins were like on the phone on one, they had 2 phones going. They have, one sitting over here for, the Niners, and then one sitting over here with the Eagles. And they're like, hey, Eagles, if I get 12, will you take it for that and a 4? All right, San Fran, we'll give up 3. And yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing the work that they've already put into the draft. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So a couple of weeks ago, we had talked about how the Bengals sitting at 5. What is that? How does that affect how do you do it? And really what it meant was that we figured 2 quarterbacks were going to go in the top 3. We figured that the Jets and Jaguars more than likely going to be taking a quarterback. We pretty much already figured that. And so there were 2 other slots and then the Bengals. And we had said that we wanted to get 3 guys then to fill those 3 picks to make sure you have at least one of your guys available at 5. We had talked about that. With this trade, that kind of changes things. And it changes things in a good way if you're a Bengals fan. And the reason that is, you don't trade up into the top 3 unless you're taking a quarterback. It's a fact. San Francisco is not trading up to go get Micah Parsons. They're not trading up to go get Devonta Smith. They're not trading up to go get Penei Sewell. They're not trading up for anything other than what they think is a top 3 quarterback in this draft, and they're comfortable foregoing future draft picks to do it. So, what does that mean? It means that 3 quarterbacks are probably going to be taken bang, bang, bang. First 3 picks, you're going to get 3 right in a row. So then there's the Falcons and then the Bengals. So really all you really need to do is, we talked about those top 3 guys a few weeks ago. It was Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, baby. Go Gators. Those were those 3 guys to fill those slots. So now that the top 3 are presumably going to be quarterbacks, we could even see 4 straight go. There is a possibility that all 3 of those guys are still on the board at 5 for the Bengals. And if that happens, we'll talk other scenarios. But if you're sitting there at 5 of the Bengals, you're assuming 3 quarterbacks are going. The Falcons are ahead of you. So now all you really need to do is get those 2 guys in front. So who are your top 2 guys? Giving you one for the Falcons to take ahead of you, and then giving you your guy. So in my mind, those top 2 guys are Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase. A lot of people, I know Brian's a new follower to the page. He and I were talking a little bit on Twitter. He's adamant that Kyle Pitts is the guy to take. And it's hard to disagree, because if you watch tape on Kyle Pitts, The catch radius that this guy has is insane. He catches, I mean, it's like he made Kyle Trask look really good, and Kyle Trask isn't that good. I'm sorry. I'm a Gators fan. I love Kyle. I love his story. Never started in high school, walk on at college, or excuse me, never started in college until, last year when Felipe Franks got hurt, and love his story. But Kyle Pitts made him look really good. There's a lot of touchdowns that probably shouldn't have been on the board thanks to Kyle Pitts. And that's due to the fact that he's 240 pounds, he's 6'6", and he runs a 4.40. That's insane. That is a big man moving quick, which makes him a very sexy draft pick. He's too big for corners to cover him. He's too fast for linebackers to cover him. And he will outbody you on every jump ball. Makes him a really attractive pick. That being said, I would be okay if they took Kyle Pitts at 5. I'm not going to get pissed. I'm probably going to buy his jersey immediately if the Bengals take Kyle Pitts at 5. But I think it's Jamar Chase or Sewell. I think Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow back together in Cincinnati is very exciting. I mean, he was his favorite target in one of the most historical passing seasons in college football history. And how do you not try and get that back together? At the same time, we've also talked about Todd. Welcome to the fucking show, man. Good to hear from you. Gottschall is back, baby. Pitts is the best pick, in my opinion. Gives them major threat in the flats. And not even the flats, to be honest with you. Like, if you're watching some of his tape, he almost lulls the defender to sleep in that intermediary 5 to 9 yard zone, and then he can break it out and get right under the safeties very quickly in a matter of seconds, obviously, and gives the quarterback a nice little pocket to throw it into. Like I said, Kyle Trask just wasn't that. I don't think he's that good. He might even get drafted in the 3rd round this year with all the quarterbacks that are going to be taken early. There's going to be a lot of good talent available close to the end of the 1st round. There's still going to be some really good talent taken. So, yeah, Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell, and Penei is the guy last played football when he was 19 years old, and he's just fast, he's strong, he's smart. And I think there's even an ability for him to move to the inside. Obviously, he played left tackle. Justin Herbert's blindside guy. But he's got the speed and the explosiveness to really, I think he could be a dangerous guard. I think he would, his run blocking ability, I wouldn't want to get in his way, first of all, but it would be exciting. I think he could be really good at pulling. Really good at getting downfield, getting to that second level, clearing things out of the way for Mixon. Very exciting. John chiming in here. Bengals take Sewell, protect Burrow. They can't overthink it. I think there is something to be said about that. I agree. I get it. I will counter that, though. And the reason why I'm okay with them taking Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts and not Penei at 5, let me be very clear, at 5, I'm okay with this, is because this is a very, very deep draft in terms of both offensive tackle and interior offensive lineman. It's a very good draft. If you need O-line, this is your draft. So, I mean, I'd be even okay with the Bengals foregoing future picks in the 2022 draft to getting back in to certain rounds to get their guys. I think it's Mayfield out of Michigan. Played tackle, anticipating him sliding on the inside, playing guard in the NFL due to his athletic ability as well. Leatherwood out of Alabama. Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. These are just names that you're going to want to look up if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you guys have already heard of these people, but if you haven't made contact or understand who these guys are, these are some of your targets that the Bengals could be looking at around 2. And I'd be okay with them because I'm looking for athletes. I think the Bengals are doing that a lot. You saw that with free agency. They lost a freak athlete in Carl Lawson. Replaced him, obviously. And then William Jackson is gone. Replaced him with Mike Hilton. from the Steelers, which is actually a pretty good signing. But all these guys that they're signing in free agency, the main thing that you can tell about them is that they're athletes. They're not necessarily like Hendrickson is like a could be considered like a flash in the pan, a breakout year kind of thing, like he had last year, 13 and a half sacks. I think the Bengals as a team had about 17. So if you can add that to your pass rush, you're doing all right. I think the main thing that you're seeing with Zach Taylor and this draft, what they're doing as an organization is getting athletic people on their football team. And I'm okay with that. Anytime you can do that, that's what you want. Look at Logan Wilson, the linebacker that they drafted last year out of Wyoming. The guy is just an athlete. He's not the biggest guy out on the field. He's not the strongest. He's not the fastest, but he is involved in almost every play. You're seeing him flying around the football field, and that's absolutely what you want to see. So we're getting a couple more viewers streaming in. Welcome, guys. Line to Gain. Now that I got a couple other people here, I want to give a quick shout out here. I'm drinking my Mich Ultras today out of this tumbler. This is Solace BLG. It's the Solace _BLG. It's a good buddy of mine, Bobby Lehman. He does daily gaming broadcasts, live streaming on his Facebook page. So go check him out. He mixes it up. He does a really cool thing where, like in the mornings, he does kind of like your adventure RPGs, stuff like that. I think he went through and did every Resident Evil over like a course of a couple weeks, which is really cool. And then in the evenings, he does your Modern Warfare. He gets you your Warzone. Excuse me, I haven't done Call of Duty in so long, but he does your Warzone, gets you your Warzone fix. So really cool. Another thing that he likes to do is, another thing that Bobby likes to do is takes 50% of all the donations that he gets, and he donates it to mental health awareness organization, which is fantastic. So really love to support, other homies doing the live stream thing, and especially a guy that I have known literally since we were like 7 years old, next door neighbors, back in the day. So shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Solace. Cheers, guys. Hey, Mama liked the video. Thanks, Mom. I'll see you this Sunday for Easter. Yeah, guys, I'm basically just coming in here doing one show, and then I'm going to be gone next week too. We won't be having a show on Easter. It's just I travel down to Cincinnati, and then I'm coming back here to Detroit at night. Got to get ready for the next week. It's a lot. It's a lot, especially when you got two little ones running around, man. Life's crazy. So now I talked about the two guys that I want them to take at 5 now. Now that all of this crazy stuff has happened in the draft, there is an alternative that I'd be okay with. Let's say, for instance, that Chase, Sewell, and Pitts, all three of them are available at 5. Let's hypothetically speaking. I want them to trade. Get out of that 5 spot, because now that, and we're going to touch on this when we talk about the Lions, think about the value of that 5th pick now, especially if Atlanta doesn't take a quarterback. There's 3 quarterbacks going to hypothetically be gone. You got Trevor Lawrence, Wilson, and then probably Fields, I would say, or Trey Lance actually is who I would guess for San Francisco at 3 there. They've got Jimmy Garoppolo on contract for this year, and he has a no trade clause, so he can veto any trade that they put up for him. So I think it's kind of like a stopgap. They're going to let Jimmy play this year for a prove it deal, let him go out and get his own thing, and then plug in Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I think it is Trey Lance, if I had to guess. The guy didn't really play a whole lot in his college career, so giving him another year to develop under Kyle Shanahan and behind Jimmy, I think is a really good plan for them going forward. So would likely see that. So again, top three quarterbacks gone. If you're a team that needs a quarterback and you're sitting behind the Bengals are at 5. So I'm thinking Carolina and I'm thinking Denver, 8 and 9. If you're one of those teams that needs a quarterback, you're trying to get back up, especially in front of the Dolphins, who might take one, or Denver's trying to get up ahead of Carolina. Somebody's trying to get back up into that 5 spot to make sure that they can get a guy. Maybe it's Mac Jones. I don't know. And that makes the Bengals pick a lot more valuable. So, I mean, what would it take for me to drop back down to 8? Probably not a whole lot. Give me a first this year. Give me your, obviously swapping first round picks. Give me your second round pick, and then probably your second round pick next year. I'd be okay with that. Dropping back down to 8 if all 3 of those guys are available. Because you got to imagine dropping down to 8. That team's trading up to get another quarterback. What's up, Tabor? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, if you're tuning in, drop a like, share the video. Love to get some people out here talking football on the Sunday night again. Sorry for the delay, guys. It was an absolute nightmare. I went to restart my computer. Cracking another beer here. Went to restart my computer. I was like, I got 20 minutes before the show. I'll restart it. It'll be fine. Restart it, and it just loading. I think it's still probably downloading the updates here. Yep, still downloading the updates. So, going to be investing in a new laptop here soon. All right. There's some Mich Ultras. Have you guys had these? Mich Ultra Golds. I've been doing like the low carb deal for a little while now, and I think they're heads above the regular mix. Just a lot more flavor. I'm a Miller Lite guy typically if I'm drinking cheap beer. I'd love to get. I love the IPAs, but got to tighten it up for the wedding. So I dropped a little bit of this earlier in the week about how this was amazing for the Bengals, right? This is great. I think it adds a lot of value to that 5th pick. On the other side, I think it really hurts the Lions at 7. I really do. Because they're kind of just beyond that cusp of where quarterbacks are going to be taken. If somebody wants a quarterback, if somebody wants to come up and get their quarterback, they're going to do it at 5. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that the Dolphins wouldn't trade out of 6 again. But, again, we got Jacksonville, Jets, San Fran, Atlanta, then the Bengals. Then the Dolphins at 6, Lions at 7. Then you've got 2 quarterback-needy teams, Panthers and Broncos. I don't see the Panthers trading up to 7, obviously, from 8. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you just let the Lions pretend they're going to draft a quarterback, which they're not going to do? And then 9, the Broncos. I guess they would try and leapfrog Carolina. That would be it. That would be the only play. But again, the idea is getting ahead of Miami. That's the big thing. Getting ahead of Miami. Because Miami got back up into 6 for a reason too. Let's think about that. Albeit they didn't have to give up a whole lot of draft capital to get back up into 6. They basically gave up that 12 and then a 4th rounder. They kind of fleeced Philly on that one. A 4th rounder? Come on. But they did it for a reason. Is that I don't think it's to get a wide receiver. This is a very deep wide receiver draft as well. So if you need wide receivers and you need offensive line, I think you're doing all right in this draft. This is the draft for you. John here with a comment. Interesting scenario for the Bengals to trade. The demand for a quarterback is higher than expected, so the Bengals essentially stole the scenario the Lions were hoping for. It's even sweeter for the Bengals. They can bargain much higher. Exactly. That's what I'm saying is that's where the Lions wanted to have been. With the Dolphins sitting at 3, they're kind of a wild card. They just drafted a quarterback. Do they spend that high capital again on another quarterback? I would say no. You got to give Tua more time. And then the Falcons are, again, kind of a wild card. They still have got Matt Ryan under contract. I think he just restructured, actually. They don't need a wide receiver either. Their wide receiver room is actually pretty full right now. Julio, I don't know what their plans are with Julio. But they've got Ridley. And then there's another guy, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but somebody was posting on him on Twitter, and I was reading up on him, and he's got a lot of tread on the tires, obviously, with being a young guy, and I don't see them spending that high a capital right there to get a wide receiver. Lions could take Penny. They could take Sewell at 4. That could happen. I would not be surprised if that happened. Or Slater, the offensive tackle out of Northwestern. There's another guy that really, impressed. I don't know if you guys saw this guy during his pro day at Northwestern, but I think he's just doing a squat, and this little fucking little trainer dude, little peon dude comes up and pushes him, and he turns around and fucking slams him back into the group and gets out there and just squats. I don't know if it's 325 or what he was doing. I don't know what the weight was, but big boy moving big weight, and he moves quick too. I think he had a solid 40 time as well. So Slater's another guy out of Northwestern. He went to Northwestern. He's got to be a smart guy, right? You don't get into there if you're an idiot. So anyway, I think the move to, if you're going to trade up, again, Carolina and Denver, those are the teams that if they're going to make a move to get their guy, I think the Bengals are the one that they're going to come after more so than the Lions, especially the Panthers. There's no reason to move up one slot. John with another comment here. As for the Lions, it would be nice for the phone to ring with a sweet offer, but just taking a pick at number 7 is still okay. They may have just taken a pick anyway. Yeah, and I kind of see the Bengals in that situation too. And again, these organizations are so, they have no relation, but they're so similar in the way that they operate. 2 older families running things, but yeah, the Bengals historically don't necessarily trade a lot. They don't move. I don't know if you guys remember the Ricky Williams trade offer that the Saints had, or something like that. There was a giant boatload of picks that the Bengals could have been offered back in the 90s, and they're taking Akili Smith or something like that. But they refused it. Again, it was the kitchen sink. They offered them tons of draft picks. Bengals turned it down. They just don't move. And there's a reason why. I mean, when you're in 5 or 7, you have an opportunity to draft a premier player. It's like top of the line. I mean, look at the guys we're talking about right now. Penei Sewell is the highest graded offensive tackle ever since Pro Football Focus has started grading college athletes. He's the highest one they've ever graded. And he's 19. Was the last time he played football. It's crazy. So, I mean, the upside on this guy is just crazy. He's got so much development left at 19 years. You would hope. I mean, Jesus. Peaking at 19 is a rough go. Jamar Chase, I think he was 19. Might have even been younger if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, these guys, again, super young, elite athletes. They're fast, they're strong, and then Kyle Pitts is just an abnormality. I mean, there's nobody like him. He makes George Kittle look like Tony Gonzalez. He's just so, and you can't be mad. I mean, as a Bengals fan or even a Lions fan, some of these guys could drop to you guys. The Lions sitting there at 7. I know that the Lions taking a tight end in the top 10 is kind of taboo at this point. I mean, there's John here saying some analysts already calling Pitts a future Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's give the kid a fucking chance, guys. Let's let him play at least a game. Huh? How about this? Let's give him a season before we start calling him future Hall of Famer Kyle Pitts. I mean, Jesus. Give the kid a break. That's just, what kind of expectations is that? Rough life, huh? So I want to talk a little bit about any questions that you guys are thinking about in regards to the draft. You want to know my thoughts on a particular prospect? If I don't know him, I'll look him up real quick, give you a quick insight. But any questions on where I think the Bengals are going to go at 5, where they think the Lions are going to go at 7. We posted something on the page earlier this week about, I think there's like a Lions blog I started following to try and educate myself a little bit more on the team that I'm not obsessed with. and they had said something about Penne or Pitts being available at 7, and they very well may be. I don't think there's that many teams that value Penne as a top 5 like the Bengals do. So I could see him sliding, particularly if they go Pitts or Chase at 5. I could see him being there at 7. Not a bad pick. I mean, the Lions didn't have a bad offensive line last year. They're about middle of the road, both in terms of pass blocking and run blocking. But Penne would be a good pick. I mean, can't hurt. But I would like to see them go defense there. I think a lot of Lions fans, I think John in particular, I think you'd like to see him go defense. You've mentioned that a couple of times. But Micah Parsons didn't disappoint in his pro day. I don't know if you guys got an opportunity to check out any of the videos on Twitter or anything like that, but just this guy's getting out there doing his drills, and it's exciting to watch when like these just top of the line athletes are performing well, doing his cone drills and doing his drop back into pass coverage and catching balls and things like that. He looks lean, strong, fast, explosive, exactly what you want out of a linebacker. Could see him rushing the edge a lot too. That's where I would lean if I'm the Lions at 7. They need help on defense. They need it badly. The Lions defense is not good. They have been victim of Matt Patricia over the last 3 years and his horrible scheme. And horrible drafts of Bob Quinn. So I think it'd be tough. Be a tough go. Sorry, guys. My good buddy Nathan Ducklow wants to join in, so I'm sending him the link to join in on the podcast. Shoot me a text. Sorry. There we go. Again, if you are new to the stream, share the page with your friends. Drop a like. Let me know you're here. I know we got John. I know we got Todd. I know we got my mom. Always supporting. Appreciate you, mama. And we got Tabor. Good group. Solid group of boys. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the free agency stuff that we missed. We weren't able to cover it, obviously, because it's out of town and stuff like that, but some pretty good additions. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. I want to hear what you have to say as well, obviously. But we'll start with the Browns. I think the biggest acquisition, just in terms of me talking to some of my Brown... Oh, there he is. There's Ducky. There's Go Cronin. I can't believe that came out of your mouth. One of the biggest additions that the Browns did was John Johnson, the safety from the Rams. Probably one of the most coveted... one of the most coveted defensive backs in this year's free agency, and the Browns went out and got him. That's exactly what they needed to do. The Browns, similar to the Lions, the Browns need help on defense. They hosted Jadeveon Clowney a couple of days ago into their facility. They did that last year, or excuse me, I know that they had talked about getting Jadeveon in there last year, and then I think this was like as the world was turning upside down with COVID. And it kind of just fizzled out. I'm of the opinion that that's a fantastic fit, both for the Browns and Jadeveon Clowney. I'm not necessarily scared of Jadeveon Clowney anymore as somebody that could potentially be going against him 2 times a year. He's good, he's explosive, but he's inconsistent, and I'm okay with that. I'll take inconsistency on the defensive line all day as a opponent. Let's see let's see if we got any big losses here for the Browns. I'm just kind of, they re-signed Malcolm Smith. Let's see. Oh, Larry Ogunjobi. Huge signing for the Bengals. I mean, you could pretty much see the writing on the wall with Geno. We knew Geno was probably either going to be restructured, released, or traded. There's going to be something that was going on with that contract. Just a quick cheers to Geno Atkins, guys. Let's give it up. I mean, he's going in the Hall of Fame. There's not even a question. Geno Atkins will be the second Bengals player in the Hall of Fame, barring A revelation, and Ken Anderson and Ken Riley get in. But let's see here. Any other? Oh, Rashard Higgins. The Browns re-signed him, retaining them on the wide receiver core there. Robert Jackson retained as a cornerback. Let's see here. No other big splashes. Obviously, they were in the hunt for J.J. Watt. Troy Hill, another Rams defender, coming over. Corner. More help on defense for the Browns. I think that's where we're going to see them continue to go. They don't need help on their offense. Their offense is great. It sucks to say it, but it's true. They have a perfect running game. Baker is good. And they have a coach that knows what the fuck he's doing. So let's take a gander at the boys in Allen Park here. If I can get this pulled up. Okay. I'm using overthecap.com. If you guys never used it and you like kind of looking at free agency, looking at salary cap stuff, overthecap.com. It's fantastic. Obviously, Goff coming in, Stafford on his way out. Tyrell Williams, kind of I don't know what the contract is offhand. Somebody does drop it in the comments here, but I don't know what the contract for Tyrell Williams from the Raiders is, but that's a good signing for the Lions. You're not going to replace Kenny Galladay with him. That's not going to happen. You're not going to get the same production. At least I don't think. Maybe you will. But I like that signing a lot. Let's see. Who else do we get? Michael Brockers from the Ram, interior defensive lineman. Brashard Perryman from the Jets, wide receiver. Decent signing. I mean, you got him for cheap, $2.5 million. I'll take that. Resign Nicholas Williams. Let's see. They lost the hero of Ford Field, Mr. Matthew Prater, and they replaced him with Fat Randy Bullock. I think I was in Vegas when I got the news that fucking Randy Bullock went from my favorite team to my hometown team. I can't get away from him. So Lions fans, let me tell you a little bit about Randy Bullock. Randy Bullock is a above average kicker in terms of percentages. It's just statistical fact. He's a above average kicker. There's a reason he's employed in the NFL. If you're a below average kicker, you won't be employed in the NFL very long. So Randy Bullock is ultra consistent from like 53 yards. The guy won't miss from 53 yards. Unless it is a much needed field goal. Then he's not really that clutch from 53. Especially from like 37 to 43 yards. If it's like, man, we really need these 3 points. And Randy Bullock is missing that fucking field goal. Let me just tell you that right now. It ain't happening. He is anti-clutch. If ever there were Fat Randy, that's right, Doug Lowe, Fat Randy. Yeah, he's anti-clutch. He's not good. I'm sorry, but he's above average, but he's not good. Does that make sense? Can I say that? Above average, but not good. I said it. I've seen him miss more extra points than I'm comfortable with admitting. It's so Matt Prater or Randy Bullock, I would take Matt Prater all day. He went to the Cardinals, Matt Prater did. I mean, the Cardinals, look, if the Seahawks are down, which like a lot of people feel like they might be, excuse me. If the Seahawks are down, are the Cardinals like right there then? Like, is it the Cardinals' year to take the division? The NFC West is a conundrum this year. You got Seattle, which like they're good, but like I don't know who they are really. I don't even know if their quarterback really wants to be there. I don't know. They're weird. Their head coach is weird. And then you get brain fart. The Rams with Stafford. I don't know what I'm getting out of them. I don't know what I'm getting out of Stafford this year. Flip a coin. Could be really good. A really good setup with McVay. Could be great. And then you got the Cardinals, which I think it's got to be the Cardinals this year. Who's the other NFC West team? Why am I spacing on this right now? Oh, no, the Rams. Kyler Murray MVP. That's a bold statement, Ducklow. That is a very bold statement. Why am I spacing right now on the NFC West? It's been a long day. Been a long week. Like the best division in football most years. I don't know why. Oh, the Niners. Duh. I always forget the 49ers. I think it was like a few years ago they were in the Super Bowl, right? I had forgotten that they were in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I forgot it. They're just the most forgettable fucking team on the planet, I guess. Yeah, and they're not winning the division this year. No, they're not really. They don't have. I like Jimmy G. I don't think he's good enough though. I don't think they're there yet. He's not the plan, especially them trading up to 3. No way. So yeah, I think look out for the Cardinals, man. Which good for them. Good AJ Green on the Cardinals now, so I'm gonna root for him. I love Larry Fitzgerald in the same sense that I love AJ Green. Just quiet, solid receivers. I got to root for those guys. I wish AJ could have been able to finish it up here, but I mean, obviously it makes sense why. It didn't work out for either side. But I'll always root for AJ Green. Adriel Jeremiah Green. He's the man. Let's see. Any other notables for the Lions coming in on free agency here? Or Aquara obviously retained him. I think we might have talked about him. He was a very early re-signing. Josh Hill from the Saints. Lost Jared Davis to the Jets. I like Jared Davis, obviously, Gators fan, but I mean, he didn't really do it. Could have been a whole lot better. See, Bobby's got a question here. What's your take on the Bucks bringing back all 22 starters? I think it's absolutely fucking insane. I mean, it goes to show you that when like people are comfortable making a good amount of money and they want to win championships, you can get it done. That's what they did, you know. Did they bring back, do you guys know offhand if they brought back Antonio Brown? I know he was the last one that hadn't been re-signed yet. But that's pretty amazing. I mean, Brady restructured his deal and extended it. Gronk signed on again. Shaq's back. I mean, they're just, yeah, they I still think the Chiefs are going to be the Vegas favorites. If you want to talk a little gambling, I think the Chiefs are going to be the Vegas favorites. Just because I think it's an easier, safer bet. You know, the Chiefs have been consistently one of the best teams for the last 5 years or so. So still hasn't signed. Ducklow says Antonio Brown still hasn't signed. Whatever. I think he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, though, if I'm not mistaken. John says every true fan of football is going to watch the NFC West this year. I think it's a little dramatic, John. It's a little dramatic that every true they're gonna watch the NFC West. We got to see Matt Stafford out there slinging it. I'm excited to watch it. Just again, I live in Detroit, so watching Matt Stafford will be fun under a different regime under under McShay or McVay. God, Todd McShay, Sean McVay, stupid names. And then Russell Wilson, I think he's like consistently my fantasy football quarterback, so I'll probably watch them. And then, I mean, Kyler, I'll watch the Cardinals. I will watch the Cardinals just to see the AJ show. I want to see what he's able to do next year. Most interesting division, I guess it's interesting because it's so dynamic. Every year, it's actually really dynamic. If you look at what, you know, how these teams move consistently up and down, like the 49ers were in the Super Bowl just a few years ago. Now they're picking third, albeit they were 12th and traded into that pick. But I mean, it's crazy how fluid that division is. Absolutely, very very interesting. And most years, like 3 teams are above 500 or close to it, at least in that division. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I will agree with that. In terms of the best division, that's a good question. What is the best division, top to bottom? So we look at like the AFC East. I think the AFC East is pretty good. You got the Dolphins and the Bills, the Jets, Patriots, Patriots and Jets bring that down. That's pretty top heavy division. The AFC South, you got the Colts, the Texans, the Jaguars, and the like Colts, Texans, Jaguars, and Titans. I don't know what we're gonna get out of Titans this year. They were kind of frauds last year, in my opinion. Their record didn't reflect how good the team was. You got to watch out for the Colts. Always got to watch out for them. And then the Texans, I just don't know what the fuck is going on with them. With the Deshaun Watson cases that are piling up. And then, his lawyers coming out and saying that, we found one instance that this is not, that this sexual misconduct or sexual assault, I can't remember how they're phrasing it. We found one instance where we believe it to not be true. So that means that all of the other ones are probably not true either. Which is horseshit, by the way. So we'll see what happens there. Looking at the Bengals free agency. Getting back. Sorry, I don't want to skip this. Talking about the divisions. The NFC North. I don't love it. Pretty top heavy there. I am interested to see what the Vikings defense is going to be like this year. I know we got a couple Packers fans that tune in, so I would watch out for the Vikings if Kirk Cousins can be serviceable, if he can just be okay. I still to this day don't understand how the fuck he got that contract, but he did. So good for him on making that paper boo boo. But watch out for they just added Mackenzie Alexander. He was on the Bengals. He's back in Minnesota. Watch out for the Vikings defense to rebound after an awful year last year. Their defense was not good. Another beer. I gotta train my cats to get me beer out of the fridge. I mean the AFC North is pretty intriguing in my opinion. You have the geriatric grandfather Ben Roethlisberger. Sorry, Bobby. I appreciate the like on the video. Look at that timing. I got a Steelers fan giving me a like on the video, and I just talk shit about his quarterback. It's how we promote the page here, boys. Oh man, John with the comment: Cousins is a scam. Yeah, I agree. I think he's a total scam. There's a lot of love for him up here just because he's a Michigan State guy. But yeah, he's a total fraud. He's Andy Dalton light. That's what he is. Andy Dalton is the Budweiser, and Kirk Cousins is Bud Light. That's what he is. So, but the AFC North is pretty. I'm a homer. I sound like such a fucking homer tonight, just talking about the Bengals. Everything that you guys are bringing up, I'm bringing it back to the Bengals. But it's true, man. The AFC North is so interesting. I mean, you got 3 Heisman Trophy winners as quarterbacks. And then Ben Roethlisberger, who's got 2 Super Bowls, though, right? It's pretty amazing. It's gonna be a dogfight for the next 7 years in the AFC North. It's gonna be crazy. Bobby, sharing the video. Appreciate you, brother. Again, Solace. Check him out. Check out Bobby's videos. Again, and for a good cause, man. Splits his donations with mental health awareness organizations. It's fantastic. It's awesome. And like I said, in the mornings, he does your RPGs and your adventure games. He ran through a whole day of or a whole week and a half of doing all the Resident Evil games. And then he does your Warzone at night. So it's pretty cool. Him and his brother hop on at night and play. It's good to reconnect with those guys. So I mean, way back. We're talking way back. We're talking like tackle football in the backyard when we were 7 years old. You know, causing trouble in the neighborhood right there on old Banker Drive. It's a throwback. Appreciate you, man. So taking a look at the Bengals free agency, we kind of went through the Browns, their additions, and Bobby with a comment here. Now you're right. Roethlisberger needs to hang it up. Steelers are worst team in the division. I think that every year, and then they're fucking not. They just don't go away. God, like a hangnail, man. You just think you're just like, all right, these guys are done, and this is the year that they're gonna slide down, and then they started the year 11-0. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It was absolutely incredible to see that happen. Then they slid off. I think Ben got tired, probably. John coming in on the other side saying, exactly my point right there. Disagree that Ben's past his prime, obviously, but they just went 11-0. Yeah, they went 11-0. They did. And then it fucking fell hard. It was bad. And I'm gonna claim that the Bengals put the nail in the coffin. I'm gonna claim that Monday night game was the deciding factor. That was our Super Bowl, man. That was amazing. It was a great day to be a Bengals fan. Browns take the North this year. I agree. I said that a few weeks ago. That's a Bobby's chiming in here. The Browns take the North this year. I want to throw up just saying it. That sounds awful, but I agree, man. I think they're loaded. Particularly, you could see them add even more in the draft this year to that defense. I don't think Clowney is signed yet, but if they get Jadeveon Clowney with Myles Garrett, that's a pretty good rush combo there. They've got some work to do on the defensive side. They made some great signings in free agency, which we just talked about. So I mean, they're close, man. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Ducklow coming in here. What do you think about Burrow wanting Chase? I think it makes fucking sense. I'm gonna read you guys a tweet. All right, Mom. If you're watching, turn off right now because this tweet that I'm about to read is absolutely vulgar. Just turn it off. You don't want to hear me say this. Any family members watching me right now, just turn it off. You don't want to hear me say this. All right. So this is from @ZimHuday on Twitter in regards to, oh my God, in regards to Burrow and Chase getting back together. This is just absolutely fucking hilarious. All right, again, if you are a family member, just turn it off. I don't want you to hear me say this. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow together is like if you knew a girl that was fluent in sign language and she gave you a hand job with hella oil. Oh my God. It's true though. I mean, like if your quarterback, I said it earlier in the show, Duck, so I know you weren't listening or you weren't able to get on yet, but like Joe Burrow had probably one of the best seasons in college football in terms of quarterback play, right? His final season at LSU. His number one target was Jamar Chase. Totally, yeah. Let's get that guy in there. I'm of the opinion if Joe Burrow is saying let's get him over a lineman, let's get him. I'm okay with that. I want Joe Burrow to have input in this organization. He's smart. You know what I mean? And that means that the Bengals are different than what they have been in the past because it's been like, okay, thank you. We're drafting fucking Billy Price or John Ross. So, yes, I think it's awesome if we get Jamar Chase back with Joe Burrow. The analogy that I just gave, a little graphic, but funny. So, all right, some other comments here, and to get to them. All the first-round picks in the last 6 years, the Browns should be good. Yeah, I mean, so all the first-round picks that they've had over the last 6 years, they should be good. Yeah, totally. But at the same time, like they went through like 27 quarterbacks to get here, so they've had first-round like high-quality first picks for a long time. They've had high-quality first-round picks for a long time, and they still sucked. So, but no, I think it's. I mean, the Browns they're pretty solid all over the page. So I think it's the biggest change for them is their coach, in my opinion. Um, yeah, on QB bus. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of Johnny Football, right? But the biggest change for them is their coach. Stefanski knows what the fuck he's doing. I mean, and funny enough, Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Cleveland Browns, technically from the Marvin Lewis tree. So Marvin Lewis, head coach of the Bengals of yesteryear. Mike Zimmer was the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. Left the Bengals to be the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin Stefanski was the offensive coordinator under Mike Zimmer at the Minnesota Vikings and is now the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. So you can thank the Browns on their head coach success on Marvin Lewis. Hugh Jackson walked so that Kevin Stefanski could run. Oh, man. First time they have retained Pro Bowl talent besides Joe Thomas in our lifetimes. Is that true? I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, like Joe Thomas is consistently, I mean, he'll be in the Hall of Fame, but he's consistently a Pro Bowler. And, I mean, yeah, I mean, that it has to be true, right? I mean, shit. It may make sense, right? Pro Bowler gets an opportunity to leave, go win. He's probably going to do it, unless you're Joe Thomas. Did you talk about the 49ers Dolphin trade? I did. I kind of talked about it a little bit, and let me, I'll rehash it here real quick. Let me go grab some more brews. Oh, we're back. Got to keep that fridge close, boys. We're rocking Mickey Ultras, pure gold tonight. On that low carb kick, baby. Fill up this Solace tumbler here. Joe Hayden, that is a good Josh. I think Josh Gordon probably was a Pro Bowler. We're talking about, is it the first time that the Browns retained Pro Bowler? If you're talking about weed, he was the ultimate Pro Bowler. Nice. That's an excellent reference there, Bob. Joe Hayden, I think, yeah, that probably was it. But like, it's these onesie twosie guys. Now you're talking about multiple people that are Pro Bowl talent. I think is what Nathan was getting at here. Is like you got Chubb, Hunt, Baker, Landry, OBJ. That's just on the offensive side of the ball. Is Hooper, Austin Hooper? Is he a Pro Bowler? Or has he been? That'd be interesting to find out. He'll be their starting tight end next year. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they got Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett. So, I mean, that's a lot of Pro Bowlers. That's a lot of guys to. That's excellent. So yes, we did talk about the Niners Dolphins trade. And then subsequently the Dolphins-Eagles trade. And basically just, 30,000 foot level, give it back to you real quick. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm getting to your guys' comments here. Yeah, they're loaded with talent now. How times have changed. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. I'm okay with that. I'd rather it be the Browns and the Bengals in 5 years from now than the Steelers and the Ravens, because I've seen that movie, and I'm sick of watching it, quite frankly. So basically, the Niners traded up. Normally, also real quick, guys, we normally only go an hour, but if you guys are fucking riding with me, I got another beer to drink. We started the show late. We're coming up on an hour now, so we can keep chatting. I'm enjoying this. It's been far too long. So Niners get up to 3. We talked about the Niners are trading up to 3 to get a quarterback. That's the only reason you trade up to 3 is to take a quarterback. So what does that mean? It means the first 3 picks are probably going to be quarterbacks, because you don't trade up to 3. We didn't talk about this earlier, but you don't trade up to 3 and not try to get to 2. Like they called the Jets. They had to have, right? They had to have called the Jets and said, "Hey guys, here's what we're offering. Do you want to take this trade?" Jets say no. Okay, next down. We go to the Dolphins. Here's what we're offering. Dolphins said yes. So why would the Jets say no? Why would the Jets say no to that trade offer? And the reason it is because they're going to draft a quarterback and they want the second pick. If you guys are just tuning in, drop a like, share the video. Appreciate you guys. I love you. But yeah, so the Jets are going to take a quarterback. Obviously, Jaguars are going to take a quarterback. Jaguars made some sneaky good defensive moves this year, or this free agency as well. Check out for them. So I think the Jaguars take Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall. I think that's kind of been the story. And then I think it's Wilson out of BYU. I don't know if you guys saw any highlights from his pro day. This guy was running. It was kind of a play action rollout to his left, and he's on his left foot. So that's, if you're a right-handed quarterback and you're rolling out onto your left foot, that's a tough throw to make. That's your plant foot. That's your plant foot when you're throwing forward. So if you're throwing off of that foot, it's tough to really get a good getting your shoulder square is key, and then getting it down the field with distance and accuracy is tough. Well, he did that floated fingertip float, like 60-yard bomb in stride to his wide receiver that he was working with. Now, given he probably practiced that throw probably like 25 times before his pro day, but it was impressive. It was very impressive. And albeit he played at BYU and they don't fucking play anybody, but I could see him going to the Jets. And then I think Trey Lance goes third to the 49ers. We talked about it earlier. The 49ers have Jimmy G under contract this year. Jimmy G has a no-trade clause in his contract. He can't be traded unless he agrees to it. So, and Trey Lance, North Dakota State, I think he started like 16 games or 18 games, somewhere around that in his total college career, which, I mean, that's almost 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons of college football, but that's not a great sample size. So if I'm the 49ers, I'm drafting him, sitting him a year, and then once Jimmy G's gone, it's his turn. And the reason I take him over Justin Fields is because I just don't trust Ohio State quarterbacks. Can you blame me, though? I mean, Dwayne Haskins? I don't know the last good Ohio State quarterback in the NFL. Terrell Pryor? No. Braxton Miller? No. Craig Krenzel? Yeah, man, that's tough. That's a tough go. I don't think there's really ever been a successful Ohio State quarterback in the NFL. That's a trivia question. Has there ever been an Ohio State quarterback to win a playoff game in the NFL? As a starting quarterback. Troy Smith. Get the fuck out of here. Chris Winkie. Oh my God. Troy Smith, dude. That's so funny. I remember, man, he was such a big, college quarterback. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing college quarterback. But Jesus. John with a comment here on Justin Fields makes me a little nervous. He wouldn't even be a first rounder if it wasn't for the game against Clemson dropping dimes with a rib injury. Maybe. I think he's still a first rounder, though. I think he's a first rounder because he's a quarterback. You know what I mean? He's a dynamic quarterback, too. It's not like he's not Kyle Trask. You know what I mean? This kid's an athlete. Which kind of makes me wonder about Mac Jones. You know what I mean? There was a lot of talk about him getting, fluffed up to getting up to like a top 10 pick. I don't see that happening. I mentioned that a month ago on this show. I said, I see Mac Jones going late. late first round, probably even second round. I just like Andy Dalton. Yeah. So yeah, we talked about that. What does that mean? It really makes the Bengals pick more valuable at 5 now that San Fran is traded up to 3, because you know it's going to be 3 straight quarterbacks. Could be 4 if Atlanta takes one. I think they will probably take Penny or Slater, offensive tackle Penny Sewell out of Oregon, or I think it's Christian Slater, I think is his name, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. I can see that happening there for them. They don't need a wide receiver. They don't. So if they don't take a quarterback, which they could take Justin Fields right there at 4, actually, because they got Matt Ryan under contract. I think he just restructured his deal. They could take Justin Fields at 4. We could see 4 straight quarterbacks go, and they could sit him a year behind Matt Ryan. I could see that happening. Wouldn't shock me. So then, what does that mean if the Bengals are at 5? So if the Bengals are at 5, and again, a month ago we talked about who are our 3 guys. It was Sewell, Chase, and Pitts. Those are the 3 guys. That's who we want. If only one of those guys is available at 5, take them. Now, if all 3 of them are available at 5, get the fuck out of 5. Trade back. Because you got Carolina and you got Denver that are going to want to get either ahead of the Dolphins, ahead of the Lions. They're going to want to get up and get a premium, get a quarterback if there is somebody still there. Now, if it goes 4 straight, you could argue that why would they trade up to get a quarterback when it's going to be for like Mac Jones or Kyle Trask, unless they're just like in fucking love with those guys, unless they're just absolutely in love with one of those guys, then you would trade up. I would even be okay with them going back if Jamar Chase gets taken and then it's Kyle Pitts and Penny and there's still like 2 quarterbacks left. I'd be okay with them going down to 8. And then we kind of talked about how that trade kind of hurt the Lions. It kind of reversed how the Lions were in a good spot at 7 with Carolina and Denver right below them, where they could kind of get in a bidding war to get that 7th slot. Denver particularly leapfrogging Carolina. That's kind of shifted over to the Bengals now, where you've got not even just that 8 and 9. You could even think about New England trying to get up there. They would have to offer me a whole hell of a lot, though, for me to take a deal from New England to fall all the way back there. But there are some other quarterback needy teams that could want to get up to that 5 spot, especially if there's a run on quarterbacks. And that just kind of went away for the Lions being at 7. I don't see the Panthers trading up to get to 7. I don't see them doing that. The only thing that makes sense would be, again, the Broncos trying to get up from 9. Or New England, I forget where New England is. I'll pull it up right here. New England at 15, trying to get up. I guess the Eagles at 12. They just traded back from 6. They can't be that interested. I guess they're rolling with Jalen. They can't be that interested in getting up there. So, it's kind of where we're at there. So let's talk about the Bengals. Their free agency pickups. Like, this happens every year. I don't know how strictly, how close you guys follow Bengals Twitter or anything like that. But it happens every year. Like, the first day of free agency, like, some moves start happening, and Bengals Twitter loses their mind. They just fucking go crazy. They're just, why aren't they doing anything? Come on, make a move, and myself included. I think average Ducklow, I think Nathan's commenting on the total free agency in general. About a C average is what you're grading them, I think is what I'm getting from that. But they everybody just lost their mind. They weren't making any moves. All of these, players are gone, and they didn't get Joe Thuney, and they were never going to get Trent Williams, so they didn't get Kevin Zeitler. They did okay. The Bengals did okay in free agency. Obviously, losing A.J. Green to free agency. Geno Atkins is still unsigned, but we released him. I would expect him to probably retire. Released Bobby Hart. Sean Williams has not been signed. John Ross is no longer on the Bengals. John Ross is on the Giants with Kenny Galladay. And Daniel Jones. Good. I'll root for John Ross. I hope he does well. I wanted him to do well at the Bengals. It didn't happen. So I hope he does it at the Giants because he's not in my division. So I'll root for him. BJ Finney, we cut him. I mean, he's a center we got from Seattle with the Carlos Dunlap trade. But, I mean, that was going to happen. He was a cap space casualty. Mike Hilton from the Steelers is a great signing. That is an absolutely great signing. He's a fucking athlete. Again, I talked about it earlier in the show. Since Zach Taylor has been the head coach, the priority has been drafting and signing athletes. And I'm all for that, man. The more guys that you have that are versatile on the field, the better your football team is going to be. Re-signed Kevin Huber, the Cincinnati native. William Jackson gone to the Washington football team. Saw it happen. Saw it coming. Excuse me. Bobby's big sad about Mike Hilton. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good that like a Steelers fan is sad that he's now on the Bengals or just that they lost them. That means you have a good signing. That's what that means. Like I'm sad that Carl Lawson is gone. On the Jets. I'm going to root for Carl Lawson because he's a fucking awesome person. Excuse me. I'm going to root for him at the Jets as long as it's not when we play the Bengals. But, yeah, that one hurt, man. And that's how you know the Jets got a good football player. Some other comments rolling in here. What's your opinion on the Hendrickson contract? Too strong for one season. For one real season. Nathan with a comment, re-signed Carlos Dunlap. Dunny just signed a new deal with the Seahawks, 2-year deal. He's a Seahawk for 2 more years. Good for him. I love Carlos Dunlap. Again, I mean, anytime a Bengal becomes a Gator, I buy a Gator becomes a Bengal, their jersey immediately goes in my closet. So I loved Carlos Dunlap. It was really sad to see him go, but yeah. In terms of the Hendrickson contract, let me pull up the details. I know it's like I think it's a 4-year deal. Hold on one second. I'll pull it up and we'll talk about it because it is a good point because you could argue that they could have just gave Carl that contract, and they probably would have. Troy Hendrickson. But I think he's a little bit younger. Okay. It's a 4-year, $60 million deal. Now there's some great follows on Twitter. If you guys are on Twitter, I'll let you know who they are. I will. I'll let you know exactly the cap hit here in just a second. Just bear with me here, guys. Okay. First and foremost, at Joe Goodberry, probably my favorite Twitter follow of all time. But John Sheeran. And let me see the other one. There's Jake _NFL. Great follows on Twitter. They're really good at breaking down how cap space is implicated. But Hendrickson's contract is only a $12.5 million hit this year, which I'm okay with. If we break that down, I mean, what did I say? $60 million over 4 years. The Bengals do a really good job. So that breaks down to about $15 million a year, obviously. But the Bengals do a really good job of structuring their contracts to where there's a lot of incentives in the contract, not a lot of guaranteed money. They do a really good job of doing that. They protect the organization The shitty part about that as a fan is that they don't then use all of their fucking cap every year. They don't do it. Like this year, the Bengals are going to have $10 million in cap that they don't use. And then, so you might ask me, Corey, what happens to that $10 million? It goes into Mike Brown's fucking pocket. That's what happens with that $10 million. So it's annoying as a fan to watch them not use money that they could use. Whatever. Anyway, I'm okay with the signing. He really did only have one good season. And you could argue that Hendrickson was lined up with probably one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL right now in Cam Jordan. So is it to say that he had a good year based on the fact that, one, they had probably a lot of coverage sacks, meaning that, the coverage down the field was so good that the defensive line got a good pressure on the quarterback and made a tackle. Or that, the other pressure on the other side of the line was swallowing up so much of that pressure that he was able to get in and make tackles. I would say, yeah, that might be the case. But then you look at his snap count, and it gives you some okay. You get kind of some of those feelings. A lot of his sacks came on not typical passing downs. So what I mean is that the defense wouldn't typically be set up in a nickel. You know what I mean? They're not going to set up with 5 DBs or in a dime package with 6 DBs. They're not going to be set up in a scheme to where you could get those coverage sacks. But let's also be very clear that every sack is a coverage sack, right? If you think about it literally, every sack that has ever been recorded is a coverage sack. Because if the wide receiver was open, the quarterback would have threw the ball. Again, I'm being a little literal with it, but I'm okay with it. I'm excited to see what happens. Again, same thing I've been talking about all night. The Bengals are signing athletes. Hendrickson is an athlete. He had 13 and a half sacks last year himself, and the Bengals had 17. So I'm okay with it. Is he better than Carl Lawson? Probably not. But I'm excited to see what happens. I'm optimistic. I'm not really too scared about the contract. It's only a 12.5 hit this year. I think there's a lot of voidable years in that contract, meaning the Bengals could release him without it hitting the cap, which, again, the Bengals are good about doing that. They're good about structuring deals in a way that let's see what Over the Cap has to say about it. So I like kind of getting into these discussions about salary caps and stuff like that, or at least reading about it. Yeah, 13 and a half sacks. Playing less than 60% of the defensive snaps in just 15 games. You got to like that. Less than 60% of the defensive snaps. He only played 15 games, and he had 13 and a half sacks. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm optimistic. We'll see how it goes. What do I think about the Eli Apple signing? Fucking whatever. He's depth. It's depth. That's what it is. That's what it is for the Bengals. They've got, when you look at it, William Jackson's gone. So Darius Phillips and Mike Hilton, and then Eli Apple. I think we're worse at corner this year than we were last year. Saints D 2.0. Right, kind of. I'm okay with that because the Saints defense is pretty good, and we're pretty bad at it. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Saints 2.0. Let's see here. All right, I want to kind of get in. There's a couple other free agency signings I want to touch on before we call it a night. Cethan Carter, he's gone. He was a tight end for the Bengals. He's on the Dolphins. I already talked about Fat Randy leaving us. Alex Erickson is gone, so we can't watch him take fair catches anymore on punts when the defenders are 12 yards away. Fucking asshole. Corner I forgot. Shit, I'm sorry. Chidobe Awuzie from the Cowboys. Great signing for the Bengals. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he does. 7.2 mil. Not a bad signing there at all. And Ogunjobi from the Browns. Another good signing. The Bengals did this last year too. The Bengals did all pretty much like entirely defensive free agency spend, and then the first 2 picks were offense. So just keep that in mind. If I had to bet, I'd say the Bengals go O-line, wide receiver, in either order, first 2 rounds in the draft this year. Trey Hendrickson again. Where do the Steelers go with their pick? First round, 24. That's tough. I think they need help at running back. I think you could get really good value at 24 in terms of what running backs will probably be available. I think you could probably get a stud there because there's going to be. I think there's going to be a heavy run on quarterbacks at the beginning. Oh, the Steelers. I mean, they re-signed Juju, but I think you could get you need running back help. You could probably use a tight end. I don't know how strong of a tight end draft this is for the in turn other than Kyle Pitts, obviously. This draft is not really loaded with edge rushers. So if like one of the top edge rushers slips, that's a hard word to say, by the way, especially after you've had 4 Mich Ultras. Edge rushers. It's not a radio word, but there's not a lot of like blue chip edge rushers in this draft. So if one of those slip to 24, grab them. I'd say best player available. That's who I would want if I'm a Steelers fan, which chills. If any team really outside of like the top 10, right? Because in the top 10 you can accomplish you can draft for need and best player available. I think best player available supersedes need every time. You address needs in free agency and you draft for the best player available. That's what you should do every time, other than quarterback. You have a quarterback, you have a quarterback, you have a quarterback. You don't need to draft one. So best player available every single time, especially outside the top 10. But if you're in the top 10, though, that is where you can do both, really, right? So the Bengals need a wide receiver and they need an offensive lineman. They can get best player available and address a need in the top 5. The Lions, they could probably do that too because they do need a wide receiver. They don't really have. Yeah, I think they lost Marvin Jones this year. I think he's gone. Kenny Galladay's gone. Who's the number, John? If you're still watching it, who's the wide receiver? Like, who's the number 1 wide receiver for the Lions right now? I have no idea, no clue. I'm interested to learn though. So yeah, that's what. Anytime you're drafting it there, just take BPA, best player available. That's what you want. So like, let's say Jalen Waddle. People have injury concerns on Jalen Waddle. Let's say he slides down there to like the mid-20s. Grab him. Absolutely grab him. And again, it's a deep O-line draft. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went and grabbed an offensive lineman at that point. You know what I mean? It's not crazy to think that the Steelers are going to need a quarterback in the next 2 years, if not next year. Let's get some offensive linemen in there. Let's start building it up. Let's have it where we want it to be. I mean, because, their offensive line is getting old. I think Marquise Pouncey, their center, I think he's in his like 12th season, something like that. So, all right, boys. I'm trying to see here what other things I need to cover for you tonight. We talked about the draft and how everything got shook up. We talked about free agency acquisitions. No show next week. due to Easter, everyone. If you haven't yet already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the page. I appreciate you guys dealing with my technical difficulties. Ducklow, I appreciate you. Marquise Pouncey retired. Sorry to interrupt here. Marquise Pouncey retired. Oh, wow. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, he's an older guy. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see them going offensive line. Anyway, no show next week. Everyone have a very happy Easter. And again, appreciate, you guys staying up with me late tonight and dealing with the technical difficulties. 2 weeks from now, we're going to be even closer to the draft. So we're going to probably hear some other stuff. Maybe we'll see some other trades before then, but we'll talk a little bit more about, where we think we're going to go, maybe break down some more film, and hopefully by then we'll have an idea as to where some of these guys are going to be going, particularly in the top 3. That could help us out. Find out where the Lions and the Bengals are going to go at 5 and 7. So, again, appreciate you guys. Love you. Thanks so much for coming in. I'll see you next time.